Hey, what's up, everyone? We have not met each other in a while here in Conty Chat. Again, my name is Zooey. Thank you so much for those of you who are watching us live on Facebook as well as YouTube on ContyNews. We are also, of course, on TikTok and on Instagram as well. Please do look for Conty Chat. I know we have one ContyNews, one Conty Chat. Just look for these both and you guys will find us, okay? And again, thank you those of you who are also listening to us on Spotify. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually in the midst of the Commonwealth Games, which is happening in Birmingham, England. Now, I wish I was part of the 58 athletes that are currently competing there. I'm unfortunately not. I've always wanted to actually compete in the Commonwealth Games. So if you guys have the same aspirations as me, do let me know in the comment section if you guys could represent Malaysia in the Commonwealth Games. Which sports, which category would you represent? So again, ladies and gentlemen, sports is something that I personally really love, because regardless of wherever you're from, you could be Malaysian, you could be American, you could be Chinese, Indonesian, Thai. Everyone loves sports. Whenever sports or whenever a big game such as the Commonwealth Games is happening, it immediately unites the nations, right? But with every unification, of course, you're gonna hear criticism. Some people are gonna say, oh, why this budget goes to this, why this. So we're gonna actually go through everything. We're gonna try and talk about, you know, everything that's under this category with a person who has, of course, contributed, I think, most of his life into ensuring that we have top tier athletes. He is also he doesn't want me to say, he said like, hey, come to the studio, just call me Haji only. I'm like, I cannot. This man, let me just tell you, he has a list of achievements that I can only dream of. He is, of course, Tan Sri Khalid bin Muhammad Yunus. And again, thank you so much for coming, you know, on the show. How are you feeling today?
Okay.
It's our first time meeting, so I will admit I'm just like, I grew up to you, right? I grew up to you in TV. We were talking a little bit about how when you were still working or still active, you guys, you know, decided to change maths and sciences into English. So I gotta thank you for that. Let me first say, I gotta thank you on a lot of things. We're gonna go into our topic, which is sports uniting Malaysians. What do you think so far of our athletes' achievement during this Commonwealth Games?
Well, to begin with, sports is in my blood since my school days. I was active in many sports, and I represented the school, the state, you know. And when I came to Kuala Lumpur in the 1960s, I got myself involved in various sporting activities, especially in athletics. So, looking back and looking forward, you know, the way I look at sports in this country, for the last 2 decades, for example, I would describe the development of sports in Malaysia. It's something like horizontal and vertical.
Oh, okay.
You know? What I mean by that is that at times we excel in certain specific sports. For example, badminton, hockey,
Squash,
and then maybe driving, as an example. Other than that, we are still at the fighting stage, I call it, struggling stage, you know. Well, if you ask me personally, we have all the talents in this country.
I agree.
See, we have all the money.
I agree.
Of the athletes, you see, and government has been spending a lot of money. I know. The only thing is, you talk about going to the world stage. For example, the Olympic Games, or now you're talking about the Commonwealth Games. These are high performance sports. To go there and win the basic principle is you need to really prepare your athletes.
Right.
For example, I can show an example. I was the chef de mission for the 1998 Commonwealth Games when it was held in Kuala Lumpur. And at that time, during that time, you see, we had a lot of headaches, to prepare the team.
Right.
You see, and of course to set the target. Because when we compete, we want to win.
Yep.
And win, we are talking about the gold medals, not the silver medal.
Not the silver, not the bronze.
Not the bronze, you see. So we had a lot of brainstorming, and we visited all the necessary sports bodies and also the athletes, talk to them. So I'm talking about planning. What sort of planning do we have if you want to excel at the world level?
Right.
So at the beginning, I stated just now, it's like horizontal
and vertical at the same time.
You see?
Right.
So at times we excel, but most of the time we do not excel. You see, that is the story of sports in Malaysia.
Yeah.
I can take on anybody for that. You see.
Yeah.
But as I said, if we want to win, we want to excel in the various sporting activities, especially at the world level, then you need real solid planning and implementation.
Right.
Not otherwise.
Yeah.
We have all the talents in this country.
Of course.
We have all the networking in the country. But the most important thing is the planning, the implementation of the plan. Of course, government through the NSC, they have been pumping in, I know, quite a lot of money, to assist the various associations which we have in this country. We have more than 40 over associations affiliated to the Olympic Council of Malaysia. And at times we feel satisfied with certain achievement, but most of the time we feel very unhappy.
So is it the when you mean by planning, is it the planning to prepare the selected athletes to compete for a certain game, or the grassroots planning, start from grassroots itself?
The way I look at it, you need, number one is the long-term planning.
Okay.
Then you need the medium-term planning.
Oh.
And then you need the immediate planning. What do I mean by that? Of course, the long term is we talk about planning for the initial stage, talent spotting, and the rest of it. And then when you have identified the athletes, then you need to implement what sort of plan you have for the long term. You must have that plan. Then you come to the middle stage, meaning the talents that you have spotted, you need to give them the necessary exposure for the various games. But when you talk about the short-term planning, this is what I mean by winning medals.
Okay.
You have already identified the athletes. They went through the various stages. Of course, when we talk about competition, especially at the world level, then of course you need the short-term planning which must be properly executed so that you meet your target. For example, when you want to go to competition, the athletes have been selected by the various organizations, by the OCM, and of course with the assistance of the National Sports Council, they have the channel to assist the athletes also through the podium program and whatever, which we have now. So, and the moment you prepare the team for an international competition like the Commonwealth Games or the Olympic Games, this is where you must really get focused on the implementation. They need to observe certain specific elements in order to achieve the target that they have set.
Yep.
You see, for example, during the Commonwealth Games in Kuala Lumpur, we set a target. What target do we set? For example, we say we need to achieve a minimum of 10 gold medals. The big question is, how can we achieve that? So, whoever is responsible, for example, now, I read in the papers, they set a target of getting 5 gold medals. I just shake my head. Yeah? And whatever identification that you have made, you have got to ensure that steps are taken to polish the athletes so that you achieve your target. So, a lot of time, you need to spend a lot of time rather, to ensure that the training program is implemented properly. And then you need to observe, follow, monitor the progress of the athletes. Then only you can achieve your target.
We're going to hold on that quote for a little bit. So we're going to talk a little bit about that to relate back in terms of planning. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Terpaksa dihadapi demi kejayaan.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're back here in Conty Chat together with my special guest. Of course, we have Tan Sri Haji Muhammad Khalid bin Muhammad Yunus on the studio right now. So those of you who missed out earlier on, we're basically talking a little bit about the Commonwealth Games that's currently happening, and in terms of, I think we're taking a management viewpoint here. Earlier on, you touched about how important it is planning for a game is, right? And in terms of managing in terms of managing your expectation as well. So I'm gonna bring up initially the OCM actually came out and said, look, we're gonna target for 7 goals this Commonwealth game, and due to the dropout from, of course, our badminton player Lee Zijia, as well as our national squash player Miss Siva Sangari Subramaniam, due to an accident, whilst Lee Zijia basically said, I'm not gonna play for the Commonwealth Games because I have another tournament that's gonna come up. In terms of planning for the games, right, as an athlete, do they actually have a say on which game can they compete in, or is it based on I'm under this association's gonna decide my calendar for the year? How does that work?
You see, of course, the athletes comes from the various associations. This is where discipline comes into play. The moment one association decided to send a player, to compete at the international level, then the moment the decision is done, it shouldn't be changed.
Right.
Right. Now, yes, I know what is happening, in the BAM, Badminton Association of Malaysia, even though I'm outside as an observer, but I know what is happening because I know these people.
Yeah.
You see, I know the players also, the top players.
I'm pretty sure some of them have come up to you and be like, hey, Tan Sri, I can't do this anymore, Tan Sri.
You see, I follow, even though I'm not totally active, but I do follow, you see. So the discipline is the moment an athlete is selected. Well, you got to bear in mind you are representing the country. There's no two ways to it, and the association got to put their feet on, and you cannot allow the athletes to do what they want to do. You see,
right?
The discipline must be observed. So this is one of the otherwise, for example, it's so unfortunate that the athlete comes met an accident or whatever for other reason. That is valid. You must have valid reason, you see, to say that you cannot play, you cannot represent the association of the country. See, so here again, the moment we make a certain decision, we must stick to the decision. I show you an example. During the Commonwealth Games, where I was involved, towards the end of the game, we managed to secure 9 gold medals. How to get the last 10 gold medals? I was shivering in my pants.
How do I go now? We're gonna get to my 10th goal.
And that is a sort of a situation that I have got to go through.
Yeah.
So God is great, you see. There was an athletic event, the 50 kilometer walk, which was held at the stadium, and then so happened our athlete, towards the end of the walk, our athlete was in second place. The first position was one New Zealander walker. I think it was about 20 meters from the finishing point. I noticed that the New Zealand athlete was almost, he couldn't really walk already.
It's cramping up or something, right?
Yeah, he was pumped out already. So our athlete was behind him. I straight away went there, motivated him, shouted at him, pushed him hard enough At the end, God is great. We got the gold medal, and that is the record, which I am very proud as the president of that time of the MAAU. You see, first time ever, athletic won a gold medal in the Commonwealth up to this day.
How can we as Malaysians, support our athlete? What kind of we always talk about, hey, we should support our athlete, but what kind of support do we actually need to show? Because we can shout on social media all we want, we can hashtag all we want, but I doubt that helps with the athletes' progress. I doubt it helps with the training that much. It's more on moral support. So how can we as Malaysians actually band together with our athletes, especially those of them that we feel may or may not be struggling, or we don't know, because at the end we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So how can we show that support, or what type of support do the athletes actually need?
You see, you talk about support. Basically, firstly, the support comes from the parent of the athlete.
Right.
Yes, I know. It's the parent. You talk about you talk about individual sports. Datuk Nicole, for example, the family. You talk about Datuk Lee Cheng Wei, badminton.
Family.
It starts from the family. But talking in general, talking about the public, Malaysian public supports sports. You can see every time you have a meet, whatever sporting meet. For example, the latest one was the badminton. You can see how many people went to the stadium at Exeter. The support is there, and the athletes know that they have the support of everybody. Everybody meaning the parents, the public at large, the government. You see, they know that. The athletes know that. You see, and the general public, you can see how they really go and support our athletes. That I am aware. There is no question about that one. The biggest question now, I come back to how do we plan ourselves to assist our athletes to achieve the target, to win medals. I'm talking about gold medals at whatever international sports they participate. You cannot even win enough gold medal at the SEA Games level or Asian Games level. What you want to talk about Olympics or Commonwealth Games? Because that is world level, and I believe that we have all the potentials. We have the people, we have the athletes, we have the money, which we have been spending, public money, but it is okay.
Yeah,
it's okay, because I believe you talk about unity. You can develop unity through sports.
Unfortunately, Tan Sri, we have run out of time. Any last words would you like to put out there? Maybe a congratulations note to the athletes. Maybe shout out to anybody you want to shout out to.
Finally, I will put it this way. I believe in planning in whatever matters that we do. It is only through proper planning that we can achieve success. Point number one. Point number two, of course, the association in general, it is their responsibility to ensure that whatever plan has been prepared for the athletes, it has to be executed successfully. And of course, we always pray for our athletes, for their success. I've been involved in this sports for umpteen years. That is why after the Commonwealth in Kuala Lumpur, when we achieved our target, not many people realize. After running around the stadium, I kissed the field.
Oh, wow.
Sujud. You see, not many people realize. I have reason to do that. Tears wept from my eyes. People do not know. Because that sort of feeling, sentiments that a person has, when you represent the country and when you achieve whatever you have targeted for. So, for example, in Birmingham, yes, of course, we pray for the success of the athletes. We want them to do well. But talking about progress, everybody must play their positive role if you want to really see success in front of you. Otherwise, we'll be participating in various games, various level. But as I said at the initial stages now, I will always describe the success or the development of sports in these countries is always vertical and horizontal, meaning at times, yes, we excel at the world level, but most of the time, we are
flat on the ground.
Oh
my goodness. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again so much for tuning in to our show today. Don't forget again to follow us on our socials. We are on TikTok as well as Instagram, Conty Chat, Facebook and YouTube, ContyNews. And again, don't forget to check us out on Spotify as well. Thank you so much, Tan Sri, for coming on the show, and thank you so much, guys, for listening. This is Zooey, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.